Welcome. It's time to round off day one of ABG's Introduce Investor Days. And that we do that with Garo. So we have Patrik Andersson and Helena Claesson with us today that will tell us a bit more about Garo. So I'm just going to give the word to you.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. As Oskar said, my name is Patrik Andersson. I'm the CEO of the company, and my colleague Helena. We will guide you through a presentation about Garo, and we will start with a short movie.
Strong innovative power, great courage and a unique foresight has made Swedish Garo one of the leading developers of new smart electrical products. We're an innovative force with an internal strength and competence. Focusing on durability and design, we develop products that ensure energy saving, smarter control and simplicity in both assembly and usage. We are present throughout the construction with temporary electricity. We provide the completed building with a permanent power supply. We light up campsites and marinas. We build effective solar solutions. And we can charge all kinds of modern electrical vehicles everywhere, with a home charger or with an efficient fast charger along the highway. We take a clear overall responsibility because we are future smart.
Yes, I will tell a bit more about a short introduction. Garo is celebrating 80 years in business, and then we were founded in 1939. We are divided in two business areas, segment Sweden and segment other markets. And the other markets is in Finland, Norway, Ireland and Poland. And we also announced last week in a press release that we also opened a company in the UK in the beginning of next year. So that will also be in the other markets. We have production sites in Gnosjö in Sweden. We also have production site in Värnamo, 30 kilometers from Gnosjö. And we have one production site in Szczecin in Poland. The headquarters is based in Gnosjö in Sweden. So you can see also on this chart that we have our focus area is Europe and Northern Europe. And why Europe? You can see many of our products works with the regulations in these countries. And if we go to the e-mobility, the regulation is perfect for Europe. There is some local adjustments, but overall our products is very good for the European market. We are divided in 4 product areas. Electrical distribution products, which is our biggest area. It stands for 49% of our turnover. In this area we have about 3,000 article numbers. It's car heater, safety switches, meter cabinets, components, and I will show you some examples, some slides later here. The second biggest area is project business. Project business in Garo is customized enclosures on switch gears. So we have enclosures for apartments, villas, commercial properties and industry. And we could also have a power supply, for example, for a big e-mobility solution. I will show that later on also. The third area, and for the second quarter in a row, our second biggest area, e-mobility. E-mobility, we have the wall boxes, the public chargers, the smart chargers, and all the things around that. It's 22%. And our fourth area, temporary power, which is products during the construction sites, electricity, lighting, heating and drying. Some examples of the products we have in our portfolio. We have components and different enclosures for new construction sites or a renovation of apartments and villas. We have safety switches. You mainly see them at home, maybe at your heating system, washing machine, and so on. But we are selling a lot for the industrial application for machines and ventilation and so on. Car heater and also outlets for marinas and camping sites. Here we have learned a lot and a lot of knowledge for the e-mobility, because we have learned how to have a different material in different climate with snow, rain, salt water, heating, cold, and so on. And we also have had a lot of electronic and software during a long time outside, so we can see that everything is working. So we have, for example, on a camping site, when you are checking in, you get a login in your app, and then you can have to pay for the energy you consume during your visit. This is also working for the car heater or marinas. So it's a smart, energy efficient system. Products for industrial, outlet boxes, plugs and sockets. Solar energy. Here we do a package with a turnkey solution with the panels, inverters, safety equipment and mounting system to a total turnkey solution. And this also is very interesting for the people or companies who is buying e-mobility, because they want to have renewable energy. So this is a package we are selling. Meter cabinets and meter boards. This is different enclosures for the utilities energy meter. That's also a product you maybe have seen in your apartment or villa, and hopefully it's a Garo enclosure. So you have to check that when you come home. Ground-mounted cabinets. Here we have launched a total new cabinet for power supply industrial. We put power supply e-mobility solution to power supply lighting at the street. And we have chosen a different material for the sustainability, a material called magnesium, which is good for the environment. So this is a totally new product that we start to sell in the market at the moment. Temporary power. This is the electricity cabinets, power supply a construction site like this. You also see all the white dots in the construction. That is the lighting. So we have the electricity, lighting, and also the heating, which is a new product for Garo also. And what's the new thing with this? Because heating and drying system is not new on the market. We have put in some electronics to the product that you can run this in an efficient way to save energy during the construction site, construction time, sorry. So you can save energy. So you have to put in some smart electronic to save energy. We always think in that way. Also when we have the lighting is to save energy. The e-mobility. We divide e-mobility in 3 product categories. The first one, the wall box, that you could have at home, at your work, or in the apartments, in the parking garage. Then you have the public charger, that we call LS4. And these 2 products could talk to each other. So if you have 10 of this one and 10 of this one, they could talk to each other during a cloud. So you can say to this e-mobility solution, you have this amount of energy to use, and then it split it in a smart way in how many cars it's charging at the moment and how much power they need at the moment. So it's a smart system behind the products. And the third step is the quick charger or high-speed charger. And we have decided to be in all these 3 segments because we think it's quite important to be a competitor supplier of all these products. And we have summarized some of our competitors, and in this box you can see all the competitors in the AC side, and that's the wall box and the public charger. And the box to the right is for the DC, the quick charger. And we had, you can see some of them is in this box, some of them in this box, and some of them in both. And we have decided to be in both because we think that's important to give the customer a turnkey solution. And we can also take the big contracts. So we think it's quite important for us. Q3, what's happened in Q3? We were on the Politic Week in Gotland, on Gotland, Visby. We were a collaboration with Volvo Cars. They were charging their hybrid cars on our chargers. As you can see, the black one. We could also have some 80 years logo. And we also have some chargers around Visby, so everybody can charge the battery cars or hybrids. We also, during the quarter, signed an agreement with Vattenfall in Norway, Netherlands, Great Britain, and Sweden for the smart wall box. And the smart wall box is the wall box who could talk to the cloud. And Vattenfall has an own cloud called InCharge. So they will, our charger will talk to Vattenfall's back-end system, so they can charge the end user for the charging for the car in a smart system. We also signed an agreement with OKQ8 for public chargers and wall boxes, the AC chargers. And it will be for Sweden and Denmark, and maybe some more countries during the agreement. So we have started this just after the third quarter. So it will be a really interesting contract. Now over to the financial.
Yes, some financial data from the third quarter. As you can see, we had a growth of 11%, going from 212 million to 235. And all of this came from organic growth. We had a lower EBIT margin, however. We ended up on about 23%, 24 million, giving us 10.1% as an EBIT margin, which is less compared to the same quarter last year. And the majority of this came from the lower gross margin in the quarter, and that was an effect of a negative product mix, but also 1.4 million as a currency effect. That was, so to say, heavier in Q3 than in a normal quarter for us. Also, we have continued. We started in the Q2 with increased market presence, and we also invested in our sales organization, mainly within e-mobility. This is something we continued with in the Q3. E-mobility is a really growing product area for us at this point in time, and we think it's important to be present and to continue the growth at the same speed as the market itself is growing in that area. So we are investing quite a lot in that. The earnings per shares were negative in the quarter. However, for some of you with the sharp eyes, you will see that if you compare the first 9 months, 2019 with 2018, the earnings per share is actually increasing instead what it looks like in Q3. That has to do with a different way of reporting the currency effects that was in 2018 as a financial net, but in the 2019 in the operating costs. And if we look at the net sales divided in the 4 product areas, we had a growth within electrical distribution products of 16% in Sweden and 4% in other markets. And in Sweden, it's good for us because we can see from statistical data that is, so to say, public, that we know that the electrical distribution product market, so to say, grow in the third quarter with about 4%, and we grow at the same time with 16%. So this means that we are in fact taking market shares in this product area. Also, as you see, e-mobility keeps growing for us, 14% in Sweden and 51% in other markets. In total, 25% if we compare the 2 quarters 2018 and 2019. And also good for us to see is the project business, which happens to be that the third quarter every year in that product area is for us the strongest quarter. And this year we grow with 13% in that area. And looking a little bit on net sales and EBIT development over time, we have staples for each quarter, but also the line for the rolling 12 months. And looking at net sales, this shows a little bit the seasonal variations we have, where we normally have a very strong Q4 and a weaker Q3. This is mainly due to the fact that in Sweden there is a public holiday, giving us less working days in that quarter. But again, over time, we have a very good growth in net sales. Looking at the EBIT, the growth or the EBIT margin has been with us throughout the years, despite the last Q3, where, as I mentioned before, we can see a slight decrease, which again had to do with the negative product mix, making us weaker in the gross margin for the third quarter. And if we look at net sales and EBIT development over a longer period of time, we had a very rough times, 2012 and 13. At that point in time in Sweden, there was very few constructions, new houses being built, and the Swedish market was really in a low phase. And then here at around 2014, 15, that's where the wholesalers in Sweden started to really look into the suppliers and dividing them in categories, an A supplier, B or C supplier. And for Garo, at that point in time, thanks to good quality product and delivery on time, we were categorized as an A supplier, which helped us giving a boost in our organic growth in this period. And then somewhere here, 2016, 17, that's where the e-mobility business started to take off, also then giving us a high increase of sales. And we have some financial targets that we guide towards. We say that we should have a sales growth of above 10%, and that is to be looked upon over a business cycle. Last year we had 13. We say the same thing about profitability, where we should have a growth of 10%, and last year we came in at 12.6. Then we turn on return on equity above 20%, and we had 30.1. And you can see equity ratio, we have a healthy balance sheet. And then dividend policy, where we say that about 50% of the net result should be paid out, giving, of course, some feeling of the need of investments and strategical challenges we want to do. We have some sustainability goals. Sustainability has always been a part of Garo's operational business. Right now we have 6 out of the 17 that we really focus on. And it's number 7, 8, 11, 12, and 13 and 16. And especially in the Q3, we talked about goal 8, where we had, among others, we looked into how we work, the processes, how we work, the work environment for our employees, specifically in the production area. We also had internal audits, both regarding ISO 9000, which is within quality, and also within ISO 4001, which is environment. And we really like these internal audits because for us, it's also a way to find the potential for, so to say, operational leverage where we can increase profitability by working in a smarter way, more efficient way. So we actually like it. And also in October, we are proud to say that we were listed or rated as a number 5 out of 6 points in the DE's sustainability report that they had, where they looked upon the strategical aim within sustainability, and they also looked a lot about how how you handle sustainability questions within your daily work. Going forward, a little bit about, we always, sales in relation to business cycles. We often get the question a little bit on our relation between sales and new houses being built and, so to say, business cycles. And we love new houses being built. But also, as Patrick mentioned before, there is digitalization within homes. There are smart home solutions which keeps sales up. So in the blue line here is our net sales, excluding the EV charging, the e-mobility sales. And that's the diagram to the right. And here we can see construction starts in Sweden, the green one, and the dark blue or purple is construction sites in Stockholm specifically. Where we can see that, yes, there is a trend, we are on the way down, but Garo sales per quarter has gone from somewhere around 80 million per quarter and steadily going up until 180 something per quarter. It's also quite interesting to see that again, Q4 for us is always a strong quarter. And the big dip here is actually where the banks in Sweden decided that you had to do more amortizations on your house loans.
Yes. Strong growth and development opportunities. Garo has always driven about organic growth, and that will be the strategy for the future also. And also come up with new products. Product development will be the key for the Garo in the future. But we also look at acquisitions. We look at special knowledge. We are looking for new markets that is interesting for Garo. But to say again, the main driver for Garo is organic growth and product development. We have done 2 acquisitions since we were listed, 2016, and we made both of them in 2017. One company in Luleå, Webel, with a special knowledge in electronic and software. And we made one acquisition in Medius, which were in project business, so we can expand in our project business in a smooth way. So organic growth will be the strategy for the future also. If we're looking forward, what is happening in next year? We see a strong demand for the e-mobility, all the product range from wall boxes, public chargers and quick chargers. We see the demand also in all our countries and in all Europe. And of course, it will be driven of expansion of the charging infrastructure because it's a lot of cars is selling at the moment, so they have to build up the infrastructure in all the countries. Demand for new constructions, we can see slow down a bit, but as we mentioned before, we think it will be a stable level for renovation and also to make your property energy efficient. That will be important during next year, so we also have that type of products. The other markets remain favorable, we think. So all in all, we have a positive view on the market condition for Garo in next year. So thank you very much from our side, and
okay,
question.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we have time for a few questions as well. So, I mean, I guess firstly, you mentioned that, let's start with e-mobility.
Yep.
So you mentioned that you have all different types of chargers, and you explained that you want to be able to provide clients this wide range of solutions. And there are quite different competitors in both segments. How are the 2 different markets, how do they differ? How does private home charging differ from the more public infrastructure in terms of maybe growth and competition and so forth? Could you elaborate a bit?
We can see at the moment, we think the 2 biggest area will grow fast is home charging, of course, and also charging at your work. This is the 2 places you have to charge your car. So we think that will grow faster. And then, of course, we have to build the infrastructure during the highways and so on. But home charging and charging at your work will be the the most important thing at the moment. And the different here is that the home charger, you can have a standalone product. You don't need maybe to have it in the cloud. And at the work, you have to have cloud system to see how much is you charging and I'm charging, so we can pay for the energy. We can see a lot of competitors in the home charging, and in the charger is not connected to the cloud. But we think in the future here, and from now and then to the future, you should connect your home charger also, because you have a this amount of energy to your house, and if you plug in your battery car, you maybe the fuse will blow away. So you have to have smart system to manage that, and that we have in our products.
Understood.
So we think it's important to have a more top-notch product, so to say.
And when you so when you sell to, when you want to charge at work, for example, is that the wall box as well, or is it the public?
Could be a wall box or the public.
Okay.
It demands for where you should mount it. So you can use both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just to go back, so like 2 quarters now, you've spent a bit extra money on e-mobility,
Yes.
on market presence and sales. Could you just elaborate a bit more specifically what you've been doing within the group over the last?
We have done some big exhibitions in the e-mobility that we think it's important to show that Garo is a brand to count on, also in Europe. We are a big brand in the north part, Nordic countries, but we also will be a player in Europe. So we think it's important to be near the customer to show our products. We have also invested in people, so to say, salespeople, indoors and outdoors, and also in marketing, of course, because we need to talk to a lot of people, and you can't do that with hands and feet, so to say. You also have to the digitalization, social media, good web platforms, and so on. So we need to invest some things there, and that have we done for 2 quarters now, as you mentioned.
And just to elaborate on that, so this new subsidiary in the UK.
Yeah.
So previously you handled the UK business from Ireland, if I'm not mistaken, and then
That's correct.
Now you're deciding to open your own subsidiary in the UK. Could
Yeah.
you elaborate just a bit on the reasoning there, why you decided to do this, and is this exclusively for e-mobility, or will you sell your products as well through this channel, or?
Yeah, as you said, we have been done in business with UK for several years from our Irish company, and we also have contracts, as we mentioned before, with E.ON and with Vattenfall, that we are selling products to UK. But we see it's a very interesting market. They have a lot of battery cars, and they will invest a lot in infrastructure, and we had good connections in the countries. So we think it's a good step for Garo to open up a company to be there on the market, so we can increase our sales in a quicker way. And of course we will sell e-mobility, as you say, but we will also sell the product in electrical distribution products. So when we start up, it will be e-mobility and electrical distribution products in the beginning. Then we will see if we also sell project and temporary power, but in step 1, e-mobility and electrical distribution products.
All right.
Yeah.
And just a final question then on, so you showed this graph on the cyclicality and constructions and so forth. So the remaining business, which is 7-8% roughly of sales, is the more cyclical, let's say, but we saw this graph. But you also mentioned renovations. Could you just split the 3 different segments? So you have the products, the projects, and temporary electricity. Yeah. And sort of what are the main drivers there? Are some of them more construction driven, some are more renovation? And just walk through the segments.
Yeah, you can see if we start with temporary power, because that is the easiest one. Of course, we need to have new construction sites for temporary power and so on. So that's the main driver for temporary power. So if the constructions starts go down, of course we will see that in the sales of temporary power. But of course we are using that products in different areas also. But if the construction starts go down, we will see that in the sales in temporary power. But if we go to project business and to electrical distribution products, we have a lot of products for renovation, as I said, and energy efficient. You have to solar energy, for example, they invest in that type of product. So the graph showed when the construction starts go down, the renovation will go up. So we could manage that quite well, and we have done it for many years. And hopefully we can do that in the future also.
Yeah. And okay, so one final question: the solar cells that you showed, that's a fairly new venture, I think. How much of the business is the solar business today? And do you manufacture these panels yourself, or do you buy them from someone else?
We buy them from a European manufacturer, and we have working with solar for about 4 years now. And at the moment it's quite a small sales, but we see the increasing is coming. It's a quite a mature market. It's not so mature that the EV business, but we see some. We could see the same things are happening, but the solar needs some more years. So we think it will be a quite important product in our range in the future. But we have to have some more years for a more mature market.
And for solar, are you targeting, for example, like villas or industrial customers, or are you targeting a certain segment?
Yeah, more industrial and apartments. Okay. The villas is not our main goal, because there is if you can Google and look how many selling solar products you will see. So that's not our main goal, because we have a high-end product with long warranties and good products. So we have for industry and apartments. That's our main goal.
Yeah. Well, thank you both so much. I think unfortunately we have to stop here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming, and thanks everyone else. And I hope to see some of you tomorrow as well.
Yeah. Thank you.